Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you get this. So, I normally don't do I do videos. So, this is probably the second one I've done. And this one is about Mr. Shannon Sharpe. So, I don't know if this is going to get out to the social media, but what I'm going to bring up is about Mr. Shannon Sharpe being an entertainer. And what I mean by that is that he was a football player. He watched wrestling. I like wrestling. I still watch wrestling. We also have to understand that Mr. Shannon Sharpe, also known as Unc, Unc, has to protect his bottom line. So we have to learn to understand that he is going to do anything within his capacity to protect that bottom line. And by that, I mean, if he does spaz on somebody, and for people who don't know what spaz is to have a emotional outbreak. Because Shannon Sharpe loves saying, when emotions are high, logic is low. And he seems to always portray that he is one of those people who can control his emotions. And as we can see, he can when it depends on who's the person. So we know what happened between him and John Bayless. He doesn't get a nickname because I don't believe that writers deserve nicknames. So we're going to go with John Bayless. When John, who's truly in love with Tom Brady more than he might be in love with his own wife, said something to Shannon Sharpe and truly disrespected him to the point where Shannon Sharpe decided to take off his glasses, and John Bayless told him, put back on your glasses. And unbeknownst to everybody in the world, Mr. Shannon Sharpe, who was trying to control his bottom line, put back on his glasses. Let that be noted. And later on he told the story that they had a talk and that he felt hurt. And we understand that when you're trying to protect your bottom line, you will do things that you normally wouldn't do. We have to understand that Mr. Shannon Sharpe is the breadwinner for his family at this point in time. So he's going to do what he's told to make sure that he protects that bottom line. And I truly get it. Trust me. I'm not a millionaire. I'm on my way to work. Let's be clear with that. So he had a spat with a gentleman named Kirby Herbstreit. I've heard of him before. He's not in the echelon of Mr. Shannon Sharpe is. Let's be clear about that. And Mr. Shannon Sharpe thought that Kirby Herbstreit took a shot at him. So Mr. Shannon Sharpe went on one of the greatest caricature shows of all time now. Not SNL, but ESPN First Take, where you're allowed to be the best character that you can be. And he went on and he said a couple of things to Mr. Herbstreit in a manner that I'm going to see you when I see you. That's not what he said verbatim, but you can really understand that Kurt Herbstreit is not a threat to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, I listened to his show, Unc and Ocho, and he apologized to said gentleman. And he said that they had a conversation in regards to what he thought he said and stuff like that. Now, Shannon Sharpe, who also has Club Shay Shay, I know I'm giving him all this free promo, he says that he does the best research that he can do. With that being said, I'm not understanding why you didn't do the same research in which Kurt Herbstreit said what he said, and then you couldn't have possibly said on First Take, hey, Herbstreit, I heard that you said some things that were demeaning towards me. If you were talking to me, next time I know that you're talking to me, I'm going to come for you. Truly understandable, truly logical. He didn't do that. He decided that I was going to be the bully man. And I'm not going to say you're the big black bully to the white boy. I'm not going to say that. However, that's what it came off as. You chose that gentleman who goes to that alma mater in Ohio State to say what you needed to say to him so that you let him know that, hey, I'm about this life, whatever life that is, because when you're trying to protect your bottom line, you're always going to find yourself apologizing, which you did again. So with that being said, if you watch the video on ESPN, if it's still up, you will see Stephen A. Smith cackling. Ooh, that's all you're going to say, Shannon? And it makes me believe that Stephen, whose name is very apropos, if you saw Django, Stephen, is that you are the head Negro in charge of ESPN. They're going to keep you the highest paid. But you need to understand that as soon as you can be replaced, you will be replaced. So, Stephen A. Smith, constant, I'm not going to disparage this man because I don't know where this might go to the internets. But I will say, he is one of the greatest tap dancers of all time. Now, he has been known to attack people, mostly people of color, and then when other people who are not of color seem to be known for lying, it goes under the rug. Or he doesn't go as hard, pause, as he would with other people. So keep that in mind. Now back to Mr. Shannon Sharpe. He's going to do once again what he needs to do to protect his bottom line. Much like what Steve Harvey told Monique. You got to do right by these people. And by these people, you know who that is. So what we're going to take away from this is, people, don't name your kids Steve or Steven. They seem to have a lot of tap dancer in them. They're not about that life. They're about that bottom line of the money, and money rules them more than anything else, not morals. Always remember, morals and money do not mix. Most of the people who try to change the world, who had morals, were killed off. Always remember that. When Cam and Mace said something in regards to Shannon Sharpe said something in the lines of, I don't listen to them, they're beneath me. Now, once again, I'm not saying verbatim, but what he was trying to say is, I only listen to Joe Rogan, who is, once again, one of the people of the other race, the Caucasoids. And that really said something about who he chooses to listen to. And we have to always keep in mind, Shannon Sharpe, who is a man, nonetheless, if he was to ever see this, because probably nobody's ever going to listen to a video this long. Our attention span is not that great anymore. He is a man. He is a character. And at this point, I'm starting to believe that he's a wrestler, because Unk is his wrestling name, and that's the caricature of who he chooses to portray. But you have to understand, this man is from the rural South, and he lives by certain guidelines where I'm always going to apologize to Massa and Nims, because I needs my money and I needs to take care of my families. I'm from the Bronx. There's one thing to be wrong, there's one thing to be disrespected, and there's one thing to stand up for yourself. And you have to understand, at this point in time, standing up for yourself is not apologetic thing that you need to do. If you felt that somebody disrespected you, then there's a way that you could come off and tell somebody that you disrespected. But if you feel that somebody disrespected you and you decided to come off as a bully, and maybe the powers that be spoke to you, or maybe they didn't speak to you, however, the point at hand is that you apologize, and from the observation of the outside looking in is that somebody called you and said, hey, you can't be that big black bully to people. So, Shannon, I love your show. I'm going to continue to watch your show. From my observation, I know that you're a great entertainer and you want to protect your bottom line and your family. However, like you always say, think it out before you do something, because now you're becoming a professional at apologizing for your actions, and that's just not something you truly need to do. Just think before you talk. And with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, great night, great evening. Whenever you get this, have a good one. Stay blessed. Later.